Yep, so here I am. You see the name I gave to it. I've been inspired to re-talk about stuff that I've talked about lots of times. And one more time, see if I can't break this down for you and get you to understand why so many men are alone. Why women are pissed at men, why men are pissed at women, and why this is only going to get worse and worse. It's not going to get any better. Okay. Now, I've told people the root cause for a long time now. Okay, so I'm going to break this down in a different way. The root cause has been social engineering. But let's just not even go into the social engineering part. Let's go into reality. Let's go with the reality of the world that we live in and what it's been like for men and women forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Okay? And how relationships are formed from the very beginning and how successful relationships happen and not the propaganda that's been fed to you through social engineering. But we will talk about that a little bit as we go, okay? So, first off, I'm going to say this, okay? Individuality has always existed. Through all walks of life in the world, for as long as we've been here on Earth, there's always been, through all walks of life worldwide, different cultures, different beliefs, and differences in people. So, all this varies because depending on the family you was born into, depending on the belief and the culture of the family you was born into, and your surrounding society that you was raised in as a child, is what's going to shape your perceptions, okay? Your beliefs that you so heartily believe in, okay? And when it comes to a relationship between men and women, okay, it happens through this environment. Now, Steve Holka came up here yesterday on the live stream I was doing, and he gave some very sound, strong advice. When LMS came up and made himself into a clown, and over the years I have told people and give people solutions, but he didn't want to hear them, okay? So because he didn't want to hear what I said, he's denying what I said and not acknowledging it. That's not my issue, that's his. But let's go with the reality, okay? The reality is this. Just like men, women are also different. There's women from different walks of life all over the world that have different beliefs, different wants. They're individual human beings, just like a man is. Okay? No lie, fact. Just like a man. When we go out to meet somebody, we normally meet people when we're not looking to meet people. This is factual. Most people who grew up met their best friend in school, but they wasn't looking to meet their best friend when they met their best friend. Most couples that ever got together met each other, whether it was in school, whether it was in a mall, whether it was in a park, whether it was in a grocery store, whether it was in a pub or a bar, okay, met each other through activities, being out in public, socializing, getting to know one another is the real key to a successful relationship. Okay, becoming friends. I've said this a thousands, thousands, thousands of times to people. Okay, our society through social engineering has been lying to people for ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And through baby steps, they have socially engineered, brainwashed the entire society and turned your perceptions of reality inside out and upside down. Okay, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. And for those of you who want to say that's a conspiracy theory, it's because you're sound asleep and you're sleepwalking, you're a zombie, you're too lazy to look for yourself. Okay, you don't want to accept the truth because the truth means what? You'd have to put self-work into this? Okay, so for a man and woman, it's like this. Today's society has taught you for decades now, they've been pushing the word gay. Okay? You hear it on your media, you hear it in everything. Okay? This skews your perception. It really does. That word alone skews the perception. So you believe you have to have this game, which is nothing more than a lie to meet another human being. But you never thought about when you was little kids, you didn't have game. But you and the little girl played together, playing games because you was children and you got along. Now, when you grew up and you hit puberty and you started looking at your opposite gender, this is where they've really destroyed society because we've over-sexualized people. We've put your focus on sex, 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 sex. So I say that over and over and over. Yeah. And this is where people's attention span is gone. What does that do for your chances of meeting somebody of the opposite gender? It destroys your chances of meeting your opposite gender. And when you do meet your opposite gender, it destroys your chances of a successful relationship. Okay, for women, yes, they want sex every bit as much as men. But for many years with social engineering, we told people in society back in the 30s and the 40s and the 20s, if women went out and slept around back then, they were ostracized and pushed out of society and run out of town. No lie. But yet men went out and slept around and were praised for doing so. See, this is how far back this stuff goes. Remember I said baby steps? Why did that happen? Because social engineering had already started working on dividing the genders. And back in the 20s and 30s was before the feminist movement. So see, it goes a lot further back than the feminist movement, and people don't understand that. See, the reality is sex belongs at the last of the list, not the front of the list. Sex doesn't make you happy, doesn't give you companionship, doesn't give you a life with another human being. It gives you a few minutes of pleasure that's like a drug that you have to come back for more and more and more. It's like getting hooked on alcohol, getting hooked on weed, getting hooked on crack cocaine. It's like getting hooked on a drug, an addiction. And what does that do for you in the long run? It destroys you and destroys your relationship. And it causes infidelity. It causes people to go out and cheat on each other. Yeah, furtherly dividing the genders. See, this is the stuff I've been trying to screen for people for years to understand what they're really doing. Because in reality, you have to take Steve Hoker's advice from yesterday and you have to apply it to real life. You have to be able to socialize with people. Now you're going to say, well, yeah, but we're more connected than ever because we have technology, we have the internet, we have smartphones, we have the tablets, and we have this and we have that. Well, that part's true. But at the same time, you're more connected than ever. You're also more disconnected than ever, 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 ever. People are literally more disconnected than connected. And they don't even understand that they are. So now I'm going to go back to old school and I'm going to tell you You take Steve Hoka's advice, which was very sound advice yesterday, and you go out there and you socialize and you socialize. You meet people to go out, meet people, and to maybe shoot pool, do darts, whatever you want. Go bowling, go on a nature hike. That's right. Because through all walks of life, we all have different likes. Doesn't matter whether it's a woman or a man. Some people like to go on nature hikes and observe the animals and observe nature. Some people like to go camping and climbing and hunting. Okay, we all have different likes. This is individuality. Okay. So you go out, you get yourself involved in your likes. You meet people along the way. Now, you're being yourself because you're not going out looking for a date with a woman. You're not going out looking for sex. You're in your natural environment, being yourself, going out and doing what you enjoy. Now you meet a female along the way that likes to say the same things you like. Okay? This is a reality. This is life. Okay? Now, maybe you two will hit it off and become friends. Maybe you won't. Okay? There's no guarantees to anybody in life. Not to no woman or not to no man. Okay? But if you hit it off and become friends, well, then you might find yourself, let's say you're out doing a nature walk or you're out doing what you like to do. Maybe you're digging up trinkets. Maybe you're wanting to find old stuff or whatever, okay? It's whatever turns your trigger. And you meet a woman that has the same interest. Maybe the two of you will hook up and go do this stuff again. Maybe you'll get along and you'll have a lot of things in common and you'll go do it again, okay, together, and now you've met a friend. Does that friend guarantee you a relationship? No. Never has and never will. Okay, but to find a relationship, this is the foundation. That's right. You and her became friends because you had things in common. Interest in common you did together. Now, if that relationship is going to happen or blossom, it's going to be because you not only enjoy doing these things together, you enjoy a lot more things in common through communication. You get to know one another. Through communication and having a personality, you make her laugh and she makes you laugh. You make her laugh and she makes you laugh. You enjoy each other's company when you're out doing things. This creates a bond which makes the friendship become stronger. And this is how you find real love. This is how you find a mate. This is time consuming, I know. And most people don't want to hear that part. They want to think that I want to get laid, and that's what I'm after. Well, if you're in the United States, then take your ass down to Las Vegas and go outside of city limits and hire yourself a damn prostitute if that's all you think love is. Because a real relationship is not sex. Sure, a couple in a real relationship have sex. But the foundation of that relationship has never been sex. Ever, 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 ever. Okay? And this is why Steve Hoka's advice yesterday was so strong. Now, I've said this stuff throughout the years over and over to people, but you don't want to hear it because it means time. That's right. It means you might meet somebody that you're attracted to, but it's not attracted to you. Or maybe you're not compatible. Maybe you don't have things in common. That means you got to go meet somebody again. And that means more time of mingling and doing the things you like. And there's no given time how long it's going to take to meet. somebody of your opposite gender, and whether you're going to be able to become friends, that best friends, that moves into real love and a relationship and a lifetime together. This is all time consuming stuff. It always has been for as long as man or woman's been on this planet, and it always will be. Today's society has taken all of this information and twisted it, manipulated it, flipped it upside down on you, and they have promoted and pushed sex in your face and game in your face to divide and conquer and to destroy the family unit and to destroy the genders. And they have done a very magnificent job at doing it. See, it doesn't matter whether you're attracted to her or not, or whether she's attracted to you, because sexual attraction is not a friendship. It's not a companionship. It's not a relationship. And it's not love. It's lust for the human flesh. Always will be, and you can't get around it. You may not like what I'm saying, but it's the truth. Now, when I talked about our ability to read body language, Steve Hoka didn't really agree. Hey, that Steve's right, and I don't hold that against Steve. I don't dislike Steve. I love the hell out of Steve because he's honest. He said how he feels. I respect him for that. I know the body language, reading somebody else's body language and knowing things is very accurate and very true. I know this from experience, okay? I know this from experience, from mingling with people, being in groups, and being in our workplaces. And I'll tell you what, it's not a skill that a young man or young woman has. This is something you only you get after you're around enough people and lived enough life. You start learning body language, and you don't even realize you are until it's already happened. And you might read somebody's body language and think something in your gut about this person and keep your mouth shut, as I have, and never say nothing. And then a few months later, it's like, lo and behold, when you first met this person, what you felt and saw, there she is, or there he is, doing exactly what you said to yourself. This happens over and over and over through our life. The same as a person who's really psychic. There are real psychics out here. And anybody who says there ain't, that's just a bunch of opera, a bunch of BS, hasn't walked in the real world yet, haven't experienced it. That's all. You just haven't experienced it yourself. And because you haven't experienced something yourself does not make it not true. This is how you fool yourself into being a fool. Because you don't believe stuff because you haven't experienced it yourself. The best thing I can tell you is follow Steve Hoka's advice. Go out there, socialize, get to know people, and not with the intentions of getting a woman in your life for a date. And that is to Incel, that is to TFL, that is to Forever Alone, that is to all of you men. See, a woman don't have to worry about getting a date because thanks to programming and social engineering and white knights and Simpson and Ginas, we have always placed women above our own selves. And thanks to over-sexualizing society, women don't have to worry about that. They're constantly approached. A woman's bothered by the fact that she's constantly approached and gets tired of it. Because she's already made her choice because the hardest thing she ever had to do was pick. And she's with the guy, but she has, thanks to social engineering, she don't have the quality to understand what she's doing. And she keeps making the wrong choices for what she's picking from. And then she blames it back onto the man for her wrong choice because she don't understand what's really supposed to be happening is you go out there not looking to meet your opposite gender for a mate. You go out there enjoying yourself, being yourself. That's right. Just being yourself, not even looking for somebody. And you frequent activities or events or things that you like. If you got a hobby, whether it's nature, walking, okay, whether it's climbing, whether it's shooting golf, regardless of what it is, okay, it doesn't matter. Whether it's going to concerts, whether it does not matter. Whatever activities you enjoy doing, you go out, you frequent the activities you like. In doing so, other people that like these activities will also be frequenting them activities. And this is where you're going to meet people with the same interests as yourself. And this is the best chance you have for meeting that person that could be one day. And I said one day because there is no timeline. You cannot go out there with the focus of meeting your opposite gender that's going to be your lifetime mate, that's going to love you without destroying yourself. Because you're going to go out there with that in your head as your attention. Instead of going out there and enjoying the activity you're going out there to do. Now you're going to come home miserable, depressed, upset. And if you continue that pattern, you will continue to destroy yourself. In doing so, your body language will start standing out. And other like-minded people that have life experience from being around other people and have a few years of life on them are going to read your body language, and they're not going to be wrong. This is where this comes from. So the best sound advice that you could ever give to anybody, nobody wants to hear. Because for one, you believe that you got to have game, and that's a complete farce or fraud. That is division. That will destroy, not create. Okay? Then the second thing you all think you got to have is to put your damn dick in a hole. Okay? That will destroy, not create. Women, because they have so much choice, they're just as messed up thanks to social engineering and white knights and Simpson anginas that they're chasing their want. Okay, so this is really where it's at. Now, Dave is correct. You have to enjoy yourself, live for the moment, go out and frequent the activities, the things you enjoy. The people that are going to do this are going to meet other people that enjoy the same things they enjoy. This BS that run around the internet years ago called opposites attract is complete hogwash. That is not how you're ever going to meet anybody. Opposites do not attract. That is destruction. That is destruction, and you will never work out. So when you're chasing all the wrong things, are you going out there with the wrong mindset to begin with? You're always going to fail. You're always going to come home depressed. You know, when you went through in school when you were young, when you was little, a toddler, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, so on, you went out in the school garden, you played on the playground, whatever, you had a recess, and the boys and girls, they did intermingle with each other, they did talk to each other, they did play with each other. No thought, just naturally happened, okay? And as you got to middle school and so on, then the girls started hanging more around the girls, and the boys started hanging more around the boys, and puberty kicked in. And they started looking at the boys, and the boys started looking at the girls in that manner. That's normal. That's natural. What's not normal and natural is what society's been engineering and teaching. Because it's at that age bracket where they grab the mind, and through your television set, male shaming, male bashing. That's right. Through people like Dan and Jen that came up on YouTube, through dating coaches that you see on mainstream media, they have brainwashed you into believing complete bullshit. Crap that does nothing but destroy. And it's been deliberately done. And all this hocus pocus about, well, the chemistry in the male's brain makes them act this way, and this guy's looks, and this guy's behavior, and this guy's this, and this guy's that, and this guy's this, and this guy's that. See, he has to change himself. Bullshit. That is complete hogwash. That's more bullshit. That's more going down the rabbit hole for destroying. And this is why I called LMS a sleepwalker. Because he absolutely does not know what he's talking about, nor doing. And he's falling for what destroys relationships. So let's see, he thinks he's going to get a successful relationship by working on himself and changing himself to fit into a society that has been engineered to divide us all. And he has to blame himself, because who else are you going to blame? Yourself, right? And this has led millions of men right down the rabbit hole to blaming themselves, especially young men. You know, young men that are middle school, high school. As you're coming up in puberty and natural reality sets in, and you start blaming yourself and blaming yourself. And the female's been taught, well, the guy's job is to please her, to care for her. And she was even taught by people like Dan and Jen to write up her list of expectations for a man. And he must meet that list. What does that do? Divide and conquer. See, it destroys. It's not even reality. I don't give a shit that she's a female. That's not reality. Reality is she is an individual human being. Like I'm an individual human being, like you're an individual human being. You're a male. She's a female. She has likes and you have likes. We all come from different cultures, different religions, different backgrounds, different families. And our perceptions in life is what's been given to us overall by our surroundings, our society, our school system, our media. The television set's the worst thing that was ever invented. You claim it was entertainment, and it's always been used as a weapon against all of us. Okay? And they have engineered this, you know. Yes, Dave's right. Okay, it is when the 80-20 rule starts talking. Hold on, girls. Okay? You know, and see, the thing is to understand what needs to be happening in society is men and women alike come from different walks of life. You focus on the things that you really like, whatever activities that should be, as a human being, and you go out as a young man and you Frequent the activities you like. And you do this on a regular basis, you will meet other people, men and women both, who frequent these activities. You don't go out with the intentions of meeting a girl or putting your dick in a hole or playing a game. You go out with the intention, this is the activity you like, and you put your mind and your drive into that activity, and you create yourself a personality. A personality that could make other people laugh. You get yourself how do you want to call it? A personality, an outgoing personality, okay? You could be the comedian, the clown, you could be whatever you want to be, but you want to create a personality for yourself that's other people like without fitting in to what social society says, so that now you're out there doing your activity around these people. You're being yourself with an outgoing personality, and maybe you're funny, maybe you're a comedian, maybe you're whatever while you're doing this stuff, okay? You will draw attention and other like-minded people to you that will like you for this. And it doesn't matter if she's, wow, this is a hot girl. Get your goddamn mind off, this is a hot girl. Stay who you are right now. Because this is what drew her to you. Do you understand that? Now, if you do that, and you've drawn her to you, you stay who you are. Don't worry about if she's going to date you. Get your damn mind out of there. Because she already took an interest in you because of the way you were acting. You were presenting yourself as yourself. You was not chasing for anybody. So you keep frequent these activities, that girl most likely will come back to that activity to see if you're there again. Yes, she will. Now you'll be there again and you do the same thing. Keep your damn mind out of that place and keep being yourself. Now what's going to happen is she's going to like you for you. Do you understand that? Now she talks to you some more, you talk to her some more. This is how you form a successful relationship. It takes time. Always has and always will. But so many people do not want to hear this. They get offended when I tell them this stuff. I've said this stuff for years now, off and on. I've told people this. And then they come up like LMS and says, well, what sound advice did you ever have? I've been watching you since before you was online. You've been watching me before Steve Hulk and I knew each other. Really? For real? Yeah, why do you think I told him he was a clown? I have told people over the years these very things. They don't understand because it's above their level, because their TV set has fed them their information. And the friends they hang around got their information from the same place they did. Their television set, their music, the propaganda. Okay, then they go out there and they listen to these dating coaches. Think about it. The young 13, 14-year-old girls and boys that are listening to these dating coaches on mainstream media are people like Dan and Jen that was on YouTube, who are sending them right down the rabbit hole to self-destruction. You know, you don't change yourself for anybody. You be yourself. You be comfortable in your own skin. You go out and you socialize with people. But see, in today's society, well, by golly, here, hold on, let me show you what you're doing. I don't own one. I own a dumb phone. I refuse to own a smartphone. But let's just pretend this is a smartphone. Here's what people are doing. all day long. All day long. That's what people are doing. Okay, you couldn't even talk to somebody this way anymore, could you? But you're more connected than ever, huh? No, you're not. You're more disconnected than ever. Because you got to sit there and go, you don't understand what you're doing. You're your own worst enemy. This is why I'm telling you, yesterday when Steve came on the live stream with me, that was golden advice. Yeah, Dave's right again. You got to go out there. When I told you to create a personality for yourself, well, when you were in school, you always had the one kid that was the classroom clown that was making everybody in the class laugh all the time. Well, what do you think you want to do, man? You go out there and enjoy your activity that you like and you frequent the activities you like. You want to have a personality. You want to have an outgoing personality. And I'm not talking about ego. I'm talking about just have a personality. Because when you make other people laugh, they're going to make you laugh. And you're going to become likable. You're going to have a positive energy. You didn't go out there looking for a date. No. You don't go looking to hook up to get laid. If that's all you want, get your ass down outside of Las Vegas and hire yourself a damn hooker. And see how happy your life will be. It won't be. No, it won't be. A successful relationship is formed from the foundation. And when a man and woman have that connection, they got that connection through everything I just told you. And getting a woman in your life takes work and time. That's right. And it happens when you're not looking for it. And the best way to make it happen through not looking for it is to frequent the activities that you like on a regular basis. And just be yourself and do not ever go there with the intentions of meeting your opposite gender. Never do that. You're setting yourself up for stress, failure, rejection, and heartache. That's exactly what you're doing. When I talked about the root cause and social engineering in NWO, they're responsible for twisting and manipulating every damn rule to companionship and relationship there is in society. That has formed your perception, that has led you down the rabbit hole. And you believe me, women are, I've told people before, men and women alike, we're all victims of this. See, you got the opposites because, see, the woman, she gets so tired of being hit on by guy after guy after guy. And even when she's already got a guy in her life, you other guys don't give up. You somehow believe in your sick little twisted mind because you've fallen for the lies that if you keep hitting on her more and more, then you'll eventually get in her pants and that makes you a better man. No. What you become is the parasite. Because, see, if two people meet naturally, this is why you see so many guys talking about couples they see together. And they get so angry at the man and woman that's all together. You've seen Hell by the Dashboard Light do this, okay? And he made an assumption about a man and a woman together that he believed that man didn't deserve her. Okay? Never understanding that if these two people actually knew what they were doing and met each other the proper way, they may have had a long history of knowing each other, and they worked a long time to create what they have, And then this clown that don't even know him and saw him for the first time in their life comes along and makes an assumption. It's like LMS. He made all these assumptions about me because of his jealousy or because of whatever. And he wants to tell everybody we've never offered any solutions. When I've been telling you the entire time, and I have talked about this very stuff now before. This is not my first time talking about this stuff. And because you don't like what you're hearing, or because you think it should be immediate results, that's a crock of shit. That's an hallucination. That's a fantasy. That's not reality. There is no such thing as an immediate. But you want to think there is. Well, because you're horny and you want sex, you think you should be able to go out tonight and meet a woman who's horny and wants sex, and you're going to fall madly in love at first look. No, you won't. How many times have you heard people say, do you believe in love at first look? At first sight? It don't exist. Never has existed. That's called lust. That's called lust for the human flesh. That's doomed for failure. You're not going to get real love and companionship in a lifetime with the same person that way. You will never be successful. You will be from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And what do you see going on in today's society? To the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And then don't we see people thinking, oh, they're going to get their validation? No, there is no such thing as validation. She's a human being like you're a human being. You're not going to get your validation as this is what makes me a man. That's more divide and conquer. That's more hogwash. You have to stay away from that stuff. You have to understand you are an individual human being. She is an individual human being. There's billions of people on this planet and billions of people who come from different walks of life with different perceptions and different beliefs based on what they grew up with. So there's many forms of different people, and your mate, your companion, is going to be somebody that has a lot of the same beliefs you do, likes a lot of the same activities that you like, that has a good personality, an outgoing personality, a sense of humor. You know, just like you. If you go out there and form your personality, you got a sense of humor, and you go out and meet people with a sense of humor, you're going to make people laugh. You're going to draw a positive energy to yourself, and you're not going to be going out there with, I got to get laid. I got to get a companion in my life. I'm so lonely. When you do these things, you won't be going out there with that demeanor. You're not going to come home depressed. You're not going to come home upset. And you're eventually going to run into a female that loves the same activities that she came your way because of the energy you put out with your sense of humor and sense of that and sense of this, because you wasn't there looking, because you was being yourself. And even if you talk for a couple minutes and she goes on her way and you go on your way, maybe she'll already be taken. That's the way life is. You can't go home and be upset because she's already met somebody. Forget it. You drew her attention because she liked you, and maybe she'd be a friend, and maybe she'll have a female friend who now she'll suggest that female friend meet you. You don't see that happen no more. You know why? Because you fail to do the things I just told you. If you do the things I just told you, guess what would happen? That female friend, even if she was taken, that really liked your personality and your sense of humor and the activities you're doing that frequents them all the time, she's going to become your friend. And it's not going to be about getting sex with her because she's already taken. But then eventually she's going to have a friend somewhere that is single, And she's going to think about you. And she's going to say, hey, I know this guy that's blah, 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 blah. You don't see that happen no more because we're disconnected. You don't see that happen because you don't know what you're doing. That is the truth. That is the reality. Stop living with the social engineering. Walk away from it. Keep your individuality. Do not change yourself for another human being. I don't care. She is a human being. That's right. That woman is a human. And for you women who think that you're above another man because of your gender, you've fallen for the same bullshit. You're not above that man. He's every bit as human as you are. See, you got a society that's told you what you're supposed to believe, what you're supposed to act like, what you're supposed to think, what you're supposed to feel. That's called a dictatorship. That's called corruption. That's called trying to do away with individuality. You know, when you have a guy like Dr. Brian Gilmartin, who writes love books and pushes the same propaganda that has destroyed our society, how do you think he got that book on the market to begin with? If he would have wrote a book talking about what I'm talking about right now, they wouldn't have published it. Do you remember throughout history they had book burnings? Well, you know who had the book burnings? The people at the top. Because they didn't want you getting your hands on that information. Hiding information from us. Keeping information away from us. So that they have all the information and they can wield it as power against us. Then you think, well, nobody would do that. That's why it's happening to you. Because you allowed yourself to think nobody would do that. You know, this is the biggest crux of all. People want to think they can assume for other people by the walk of life they've walked in, not understanding that there's hundreds and thousands of different walks of life across the world. And there's people who don't agree with other people. It's normal. It doesn't mean you fight one another. You know, the definition of growing up is learning how to get along. Even if you don't really like somebody or agree with somebody, you learn how to get along. Nobody said they had to be your best friend. Nobody said you had to hang with them. But to fight them because they don't believe what you believe is childish behavior. So if you want to be a child, just go right out there and keep doing that crap. But the reality is everything that I've just told you. This is why we have the epidemic of TFL and Incel. Social engineering. Your real enemy is up there at the top. Your real enemy is actually telling your own government what to do. You know, you have family bloodlines that are behind this because they hold knowledge that you've never been given. You want to call it conspiracy theory and not look into it because everybody else said it's a bunch of kooks. Well, you know, that's what they did in Nazi Germany, and that's what they did in Russia. That's what they've done throughout history, is tell people who saw the truth they were nuts. Then when things got really bad, they couldn't figure out why they got really bad until they were too late. This is what you're witnessing going on. You're witnessing history replaying itself again. And if you're going to help anybody in the manosphere, as far as men and women go, you got to get your heads out of you know what. You got to stop listening to your television set. You got to stop listening to... No, you cannot call right now. You got to stop listening to your television set. You got to stop listening to all of this crap. You got to use this. And you got to understand a, a relationship between a man and a woman is built. It's not instantaneous. And it takes time. And if you're impatient, don't got time, then you won't get. If you're hibernating in your room and staying isolated, you're your own enemy. If you go out there with the mindset that I've got to get, you're going to fail. You got to go out there, be yourself, and not go out there with the intentions of getting a date. Not go out there with the intentions of getting laid. You can't go out there believing game, because it's not a game. Another human being's emotions and feelings are not a game. Hold on a minute. This is not going to stop until I answer it. I hate interruptions. Well, Dave, I think canceling your cable is a good thing. I haven't watched TV in probably, 12 years. Seriously, I'm not lying to people. I don't even own a TV. Now, Heather owns a TV. She don't watch it that often, but she watches her sitcoms. Okay? She gets mad when news things come in the middle of her sitcom. I don't care. I don't watch TV. I watch movies online. So I'm not going to lie to you. I watch movies. And I see so many movies with programming and propaganda in it. But I'm so awake to so much that I don't go down a rabbit hole with this shit. Okay? I try to help other people with what I do. I always have. My intentions have always been to help other people. Always. And so many people don't get that. Or they get angry because I'm not regurgitating what their TV told them. That's right. I'm an individual and I'm telling them something they don't want to hear. Because a lot of people in today's society are immature. That's right. I hate to say it, but they are. They're impatient. They don't know what they're doing, but they think they know what they're doing because they've convinced themselves they are, because their friends are all doing the same things. So they know it must be right. See, that's social engineering at its finest. Okay? Your perception has changed to garbage. And you have to change your own perceptions. No, most people don't want to do that. Most people already know they're right, even if they're wrong. And they will attack the person who's telling the truth because they don't want to hear it. Okay? And in the dating arena, so many guys have went so long not knowing what they're doing. They're so depressed. They're so upset. And they don't want to take the time because it's time consuming. Well, you can either stay unhappy and miserable, living TFL, living incel, living forever alone, whatever you want to call it, love shy. You can keep reading the books that's been put on the market to the public that's full of propaganda, because nobody can publish a book with the stuff I told you about, because the powers to be won't allow that published. That's hidden knowledge. You're going to tell me no, it ain't? Yes, it is. They won't allow it published because they don't want you knowing what I just told you. Because it's about divide and conquer. You say, oh, I'm just a conspiracy nut. No, you're a zombie. You're a sleepwalker. I pointed the direction to people for years now, and people like LMS never looked. No, never ever looked. Just came up and started making fun of and mocking and running his mouth with no knowledge. And what is he, half my age? I mean, the guy's managed to make himself into a clown. That's all he's done for himself. He's made himself discredible and into a clown. I think he has good intentions, but he has good intentions with no knowledge. And what he's doing is he's actually hurting people, not helping them. And he don't even know he's hurting them. Because he's spouting out his mouth the same propaganda that will cause men to spend years trying to change themselves and still be right where they're at right now. That's right. And still be right where they're at right now. That's why I told him he was a sleepwalker. Now, to him, that was an attack. That's right. He classified that as an attack. And he had to attack me back with a bunch of BS and make himself into a clown. Yes, Dave's correct. People should listen to that. I appreciate Dave being here. He must be off today. That's awesome. Unfortunately, you can't join this particular live stream, Dave, because you see me. That's the reason I changed the format over. So when you don't see me and I'm up on a video where you don't see me like what you saw yesterday, eventually I'll change the pictures up that you see it. But I'm going to leave them there a while. But when you see me doing a live stream with that format, then Dave, you can call in with Zoom information and you can come into that live stream. I come up under that format when I'm allowing other people in. And then people can come in because they'll email me, I'll talk to them, and I'll give them the information. That's how that's going to work. Once you have that information, you put it in a text file on your computer and keep it. Then when you see me doing a live stream with that format and you want to join it, you can pick up your telephone and call in. Or you can put Zoom on your PC and add me to your contact list and bring yourself in like Steve Holka did. See, yesterday, I didn't have nobody with me. You say, yes, I did, Steve Holka. No. Steve Holka got through to that live stream on Zoom. That's how y'all heard him. And I was in the format that allowed him to do that. So, that's the reason I told people this. So, Dave has my information for Zoom. Warren has it. Steve Holka has it. I give it out to the people that I really like that can come on my live stream. Now, before I end this live stream, there's something I'm going to tell you. Okay? What I'm doing right now is I'm setting something up for Saturday night. This coming Saturday night, right around 8 p.m. of this coming Saturday night. Today's only Monday. So we got a few days to go, so you got a good notice. I'm going to be coming up on a live stream with my friend from United Kingdom. My other friend that I had over here, Joe, from Australia. And Joe also has somebody else that he knows that he wants to bring into that live stream as well. So if this comes together next Saturday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Dave's on the East Coast time, so that'd be 9 o'clock for Dave, or anybody on the East Coast. Anybody on the West Coast, it'd be 7 o'clock. Mountain Standard Time. And if you're over in California, Washington area, then you're going to be 2 hours behind. So it would be 6 o'clock. Just so you know, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time this coming Saturday. If things work out, it's going to be me, Joe, okay, Jay from the United Kingdom, and a friend of Joe's are going to come up and do a live stream. Just so you're aware, that's being set up and planned. Okay? But I think I've had my say here, and I hope that people will understand what I've told them. I'm not going to fight with you over what I've told you. I have told you the concrete truth. And if you ever want to get out of TFL or Forever Alone or Incel, then you need to do the things I'm telling you. And if it don't fit in with society's groupthink that they want you to think, show society this. Because society gave you 50-something genders. You already know that there's no such thing as 50 genders if you even have a quarter of a brain. Anybody believes that we have 50-something genders is already out of their damn mind. There's no doubt about it. If you believe there's more than, I'll say 3 genders, because every now, super now, and again, you might have a morphodite that's born. Somebody was born with both genders. Outside of that, there's no such thing as anything more than 3 genders. And it's mostly all 2 genders. Anything above that number is complete hogwash, and you have to be out of your damn mind. But you know why they've done that, right? For confusion. The end goal is to divide and conquer. They don't want genders together anymore. They want to control the population. What did I say the core of New World Order is? The dating arena. People say, well, no, it ain't. Yes, it is, because that's where babies are born. This is where the procreation, this is where it's happening at. And they want to control the population. They want to control the births. They want the genders divided and destroyed. I told you earlier in this live stream, I can take you back to the 20s and 30s. And I can show you, even in the 20s and the 30s, where the powers to be was already working on dividing the genders. Yeah, that far back. Why do you think in the 20s and 30s, women were literally ostracized if they slept around with other men? And so women wouldn't. But yet men slept around with other women back in the 20s and 30s, and they were idolized and praised. Social engineering, people. Now, see how far back I went? I went back to the 1920s and the 1930s. And I just told you about something you didn't even know. That was social engineering. That was deliberately done. Remember, baby steps, baby steps. This is how they got us where we're at right now. To see, so I just gave you an example how far back this goes. I almost took you 100 years back and showed you something you're not even thinking about. And it was going on then. How do you think we got where we're at right now? What can I say? Other than to tell you God's honest truth. I'm never going to tell you anything different. I'm always going to tell you the God's honest truth, and I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. And I know I piss people off when I don't sugarcoat it. I know you don't want to hear what I have to say. And I know some of you men are so impatient, like LMS, half my age, that he's going to lie to you and tell you things because, and then because he hasn't looked into anything, he's going to run with the propaganda that's been published that's going to lead him down a rabbit hole, and he's going to spend the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years changing himself to find out he's got the exact same problem he has before he changed himself. And then he's going to be beating his head into a wall going, what the fuck? Not my fault, his fault. He can only blame himself. I've told you everything in this here live stream that you need to know if you want a successful relationship. And yes, it takes work. And yes, it takes time. And yes, you have to do as I've said. And it's not going to be easy for you to do because you've been brought up in a society that over-sexualized you, that has told you a lie. You think you got to have game. You think love is game and sex. And you better lose that because you lost if you don't. That's why we're so divided. So anyhow, with that, guys, I'm getting on out of here. And you all have a good one. Hey, and thank you, Dave. If you want to call, feel free to call. My phone will be free.